bring snacks.
What it do, Lotus Universe? Boy Jokes is here. I got the homie Gage and I got the homie Son alongside me. And it's time for another episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler Boys.
And if you guys can't tell by our background going on here, we're here to talk about The Mandalorian. We're in season 3 and we're going to be talking about episode 2 coming right along for us. Let's go ahead and let's start with the basic things that we normally talk about. Gentlemen, let's do it this way. How did we enjoy episode 2 of The Mandalorian? Sen, I'll start with you.
A little shaky.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Gage?
I thought it was tough. I liked it.
Liked it? I'm kind of in the same place. I liked it.
I was with it.
I enjoyed this one a little bit more than I enjoyed the first episode. Like, I thought the first episode was just kind of giving us that introduction, getting us back into the world of the Mandalorian. We'll hold on to our grades for the episode towards the end after we kind of talk through it. But let's go ahead and jump on in. So, Mando, we know he's on a mission. He's trying to get IG-11 back. We know my man wants to have IG-11 so he can go to Mandalore and have this droid to have us back when he goes through all for him. But we know he's got to get the memory chip. So, good thought on his mind. You know what? It didn't quite hit me. He decides to go back to, I think I said, Peli, who fixed up his ships every time that he's had it on there for it, to try to find the memory chip. So he goes back to her place, and right before he gets there, the Jawas, of course, are in there trying to do what Jawas do. Someone else is trying to get something repaired, and of course, the Jawas, of course, ripped off their part and essentially trying to sell it back to him so he can get it fixed. Pretty funny, but but he goes there to see if he can get the part. He asks her, and of course she reaches out to the Jawas, and they're like, nah, we can't get that part. I feel like if the Jawas can't get the memory chip, I don't know.
It's gonna be tough to find that chip. Yeah, they can't get it.
I don't know who else you go to at that point. But after finding that out, she ends up just saying, listen, you looking for a droid? I got your back. And she has her astromech R5. And, you know, she's like, yeah, he's ready to go. He's in tip-top shape. He can do what you asked to do. R5 right off the break, just like,
No, I cannot.
No, I cannot.
I don't want no parts of this.
But, like, she sold my man up. And Mando ends up leaving with R5 in tow, even though this droid wants absolutely nothing to do with this mission. So, after procuring said droid, we decided to finally go ahead and make our trip over to Mandalore. And, you know, when you get to a planet, especially one that you've never been to before, you know, you want to kind of get the feel, get the lay of the land, just to know how you're going to be able to do things. We do see as soon as he gets into the atmosphere, starts losing connection with the outside world. You know, he tells Grogu, like we're on our own here. We have no contact outside of this planet. Clearly, the planet is supposed to be dead with no help or anything on there for it. So once they land, you know, they find their area that they're going to land in. Send out R5. Try to send out R5 initially to kind of just get a feel, see what the atmosphere is like, if it's breathable, typical things you would probably want to do on a planet that you've never been to. I don't know about you guys. I kind of saw this coming from a mile away. As R5 got further and further away from the ship, I'm just like, my man gonna disappear. So Mando Grogu looking on his scanners, looking at the little red blip on there for it, all of a sudden just vanishes. I'm like, oh, you just wasted your money, good sir. What did y'all think about dropping on Mandalore for the first time?
I mean, it's cool. I like the look of it as far as it being kind of devastated and everything. I did like the look of it. One of the problems I did have with episode so far you just talked about was I like him selling for R5 and not getting IG back after everything in the first episode. You know, they put him up on a little monument there and they took it down so he get the parts back. He's trying to find the network, the memory chip so he can get IG back. Like, okay, IG's gonna come back, cool. And now we're not getting IG back. We're just gonna use R5. Like that was a little bit of a letdown for me. But okay, R5, you don't want to do it. Let's see where this is going. Take him there. But no, I like the way Mandalore looked for the first time and kind of just seeing it through that live action kind of lens. You know what I'm saying? Not something animated. I enjoyed it.
Gage.
I mean, I you get that as they're coming through the atmosphere. I think that the kind of the stuff that stands out to me is like you get a little bit of more time with Mando and Grogu in the ship and him, filling him in like, hey, you have to know how to navigate as a Mandalorian. You have to know how to navigate the stars. You never really know where you're going to be or what you're going to have to do or whatever. Some foreshadowing there, you know what I mean, that they do. And him explaining like, okay, this is the moon. This is where I grew up, right? So here's the planet. I've never been on the planet, right? Here's the moon. This is where I grew up. And this planet here, this is where we went to go see, what's her name? Bo-Katan. This is where she is. It's in the same star system, but I never been on the planet before, right? And then as they go to the planet, I think that kind of hits home that you really do understand he's never seen it. So he never saw it before, it was devastated. He's only ever heard stories of that devastation. And so now as he's going back, and it's like, you don't know what to believe. And it just kind of sells, for me personally, that idea of there being so many different thoughts or ideas about Mandalore and what it is and how it works. And so the myths from old all the way up to now, and now that devastation and them being like, nah, it's cursed, the air is not breathable, you can't whatever. So when you go back to the first episode and he's like, nah, somebody went to Mandalore because this joint came back from there. So clearly somebody had to be able to go. And as you see them kind of pierce the atmosphere and it storms and all that, you don't really know what you're gonna get when you get there. And once he gets through that cloud formation, it kind of opens up. I mean, I thought the way they made the planet look, I've only ever seen like really explosions and stuff like that. I've only seen that before, right? So like, yeah, kind of seeing the aftermath of that I thought was pretty cool. And them finding a place to kind of settle down and seeing that like, yeah, basically the whole planet is covered in glass now, whatever. I thought it was cool. R5, the R5 thing really isn't for me. Like, I'm kind of what you saying. Like, I was like really wanting them to be able to get, what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to see,
Yeah.
I'll only give him the points because it's kind of like he really did go to the one place where it's like, if that part's going to be available, this is who's going to be able to get it. And I really don't have time. I can't like, for real, I'd have been more angry if they'd have got there. Because if they'd have got there and they had the part, it'd have been kind of like,
that was super easy after you just said it.
And if he got there and they didn't have it and he was like, I refuse, I have to have IG-11, it's kind of like, all right, dog, so what's more important? You got to go to the planet and get it done, or are we now going to spend the next however many episodes scouring the planets to try to find a part to get, you know what I'm saying? And so the only reason why I take, I don't want it to be that. I feel like that would have been bad. And R5, because technically R5 is it's Star Wars history. I mean, it is the droid that they tried to sell to Luke and his uncle, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. So like, her kind of lying and being like, he's a rebel fighter. Like, no. But I like her because she be swelling, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like she respects Mando, but not enough not to lie to Slim. Like, I'm about to get this money up on.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to hook him up, but he's going to pay me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, that was kind of cool. And I guess, in a way, to see R5, because R5 basically got replaced by R2. And so to kind of see R5 actually get to be in the astromech joint, because
I was actually
it is kind of cool to finally see that joint get used for what it's supposed to be used for. And actually finally make it into space, and the importance, I would say, of what it ends up being. I got over it. Like I was feeling the way you was feeling, Sam, but I think I got over it like relatively quickly, because I was like, oh, R5 really ain't gonna be important. And you know, they tend to make droids super important. You know what I'm saying? Like in the last joints we watched, Andor, the droid was super important. You know, it just, I don't know. I kind of got over that. Because I was more concentrating on what the planet looked like and what was there, and what they was about to be up against. Clearly there's life.
Clearly.
Yeah, I was cool with it.
Dig it. So obviously R5's disappeared. So Mando decided, you know what, he tells Grogu, just, you know what, hunker down in the ship. I'm gonna put on my oxygen and all that. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna take this look for R5 right quick. and see if he's bitten the big one. But in doing so, this is where we kind of see the first creatures, I guess you could say, of Mandalore that are still there. I would say with the first batch, he relatively disposes of them pretty easily. I guess you could say, compared to other battles that he's been in. But once he's able to, of course, recover R5 and then find out truly what like the atmosphere and things are like, he's like, okay, Grogu, you can come on out. It's breathable. We can actually go about doing our business from there. So gets Grogu, puts him in his little floating crib, and you know they just his little that little thing is a little more versatile than what I originally thought it was. Like, I'm just thinking that thing was just floats
a cradle, dog.
Yeah.
Just floats him up. But when
I think got some gas.
Hey, but when they decide, you know, they gotta go deeper to kind of find what they're looking for. You know, the thing got some jet engines on there, because that thing can hover and go up, go down, whichever way direction you want to go to. But you know, they start going deeper into the planet. I guess you want to say the caves or whatever you want to say for it. And this is where Mando ends up running into a foe that he can't quite dispatch, like this one-eyed Cyclops looking type of droid.
Hold on, dog, because that first fight, we gotta go back, dog. We gotta go back, because my man really pulled that saber out.
Oh,
and was looking weak.
Wait.
Oh, he got washed. Yeah,
he landed like one hit with that joint. Joint was too heavy. He was looking weak, bruh. And that is so important to what is happening in this episode, because there's a difference.
Oh yes, there's a huge difference. That made me go back like, man, there's some trash.
Hey, dog, I'm looking at the picture behind you, Jokes.
This
my man is one hand wielding that joint, and I'm some lies.
This is MCU level deception here.
My man can't one hand that joint.
You know what that is? That was him lifting it all the way up with both hands. Like, hey, we need you to hold that for a second, and then you're gonna take your other hand off and just let that sucker drop, and we can get the right shot.
Yeah, get them rapid shots off.
Yeah, my man really had to like use his Mando skills. He had that sword wasn't doing him no good, bro.
Nah, I mean, this is that, I guess, that internal conflict. You know, having to, you know, want to cleanse himself. Like, there will be some stuff that'll play into that. But yeah, no, that definitely is an important piece, because later on that's gonna be funny to talk about. But you know, the second time around, you know, he runs into this Cyclops droid, like a droid / I almost think it was like organic in some shape.
That point reminded me of
Grievous. That was the first thing that popped in my head, and
he did remind me of Grievous, and him and his Destiny spider tank. He was walking around there.
But unfortunately, Mando could not take him down. It ends up getting taken away. So he gets taken away, and Grogu, of course, goes to try to find Mando. And I'm like, see my man hopping through and walking around and wobbling through. I'm like, okay, he about to go down.
I hate it, dog. I hate seeing Grogu walk, dog. I think that's the stupidest looking thing. Like, and I really was looking at this episode and trying to figure out, dog, am I mad about this or not? Because, hey, dog, he be looking like the Dark Crystal.
He
Walking
walks
around.
like this. He walks like this whenever he walks.
Yeah, it's so bad, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. There's some part of me that's like I'm conflicted about whether or not I'm okay with the idea of them like somehow trying to stick with like the old school, this is how the puppeteering really looked and was or whatever, versus being like, hey, son, we don't have to live like this anymore, dog. Why we have computers? Like, we don't have to live like this. And like the idea of him walking around looking like a doozer from Fraggle Rock, dog, is really starting to weigh on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm having issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I get it. I know he's supposed to be dope. Like the first time when they land and they go to see Pelly and my man jumps out of the ship and busts a flip, she like, oh, snap, you got moved. Yeah. Because my man was training for like a minute. So, and he trained with the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? So he knows some things. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But dog, and listen, and his hop along skills, again, not super different from Yoda. Yoda walks slow, Finn had a cane, blah, blah, blah. But when it was time to wreck,
Yoda get busy. Yeah.
All the juice, spinning and flipping and turning and hopscotching and whatever. So I'm kind of like, I get it. No matter what, Grogu is going to walk like that. I think I've in my mind, in order to be okay with it, I've had to decide that like, nah, his species walks like puppets. Like that's just
it
of what their species is. They walk like puppets. And so I'm kind of like, cause nothing else, dog. Like the droids don't look like that. Like nothing else moves like that. And so I've kind of had to make a concession in my own brain. That's just like, nah.
That's just how they are. That's how they are.
Just how they walk.
Right.
They walk like puppets with like a little bit of extra air under their feet. Kind of like they float hopping. I don't know, dog. It's still annoying to watch though. It just is like, come up off them robes, bruh, and let me see them legs, dog.
Yeah. Let me see you move your nubs. Let me just see you use
chainmail. Yeah, where's the Mandalorian chainmail armor, bruh? Like, let me see. You know what I'm saying? What we doing? Because Slim been swaddled for a long time, dog.
His potato sack.
Yeah, that burlap.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That one was kind of bothering me. Let me just say that. But I feel him when it was time to get busy and get away. Like that's where I'm at.
I dig it. So, Grogu eventually does find Mando, and he tries to take it upon himself to see if he can rescue Mando out of his situation that he's in, but he doesn't quite have the juice necessary to do it. So at this point, Cyclops creature sees that it's happening, and Mando is just like, hey, listen, you gotta go find Bo-Katan. So first thing when he's telling Grogu to go find Bo-Katan, I'm kind of like, does Grogu really? I know he understands certain things and he will do, but is he well enough versed to be able to go and get Bo-Katan? I'm like, okay, let's run with this. So Grogu starts making his way back out, but of course he runs into a couple obstacles in his way trying to get back to the ship. Runs into a pretty big obstacle that he's able to go ahead and just, I don't know if it was a forced push or forced throw that he ends up technically using it on him, but
it worked, whatever it was.
It worked the charm, and he was able to make it back to the ship just along with the help of R5 being in there, take off and leave the planet. So we left Mando there. Unfortunately, there's just nothing Grover really could do by himself on there. So the ship makes its way back to Bo-Katan, and she sees the ship coming in, getting ready to make it landed, and she's ready to go out here and tell this dude Mando, oh, like, listen, I told you no. You coming back here? All right. Let me go out here and I'm gonna show it to you a different way.
She said, let's get rid of him once and for all. What you about to go kill my man? What you about to do?
I don't know. She's about to put hands on Mando. And then, she starts talking. But you would think, clearly, if Mando was sitting in the cockpit,
you would be able to see him.
You would just
clearly
see him.
right there.
Helmet sitting up in there. But of course, cockpit opens up. Grogu just says, and then there's like, wait, what? And then she just kind of pieced together, what happened. It's not like Grogu can really talk and say the planet, he's on the planet, he got captured, we need to go rescue him. So she had to kind of piece together, but she eventually, get the droid out of there. Let's find the last known location. Initially, I thought she was going to end up figuring it out, get back into his ship, I guess, and go down there. But then I was like,
I thought she was going to get in his ship too.
Mm-hmm.
But then I guess, if she goes to rescue him, both of them not gonna fit in there. So she has her own ship, of course. Get in, load up droid, load up Grogu, head on back to Mandalore.
Both of who not gonna fit?
Mando and
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, unless Grogu's little area in the back when he goes back there and pops up in there is a little bit bigger than what we think it is.
That thing probably gotta go somewhere.
So she gets to the planet, and she tells Grogu, it's like, you gotta lead the way. You gotta take me to where he is, and so I can try to help save him or whatever.
Hey, look at Sin frustrated.
Look. I have a problem with that whole thing that just happened.
Go ahead and elaborate.
He tells Grogu, go get Bo-Katan. Okay, so all right, he gets out of there. He stumbles his way back to the ship. He flies it to a whole nother planet to go get her. Why is Mando still alive and not dead? They flew to a whole nother planet to go get her and come all the way back to this planet. What was this dude doing? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that made no sense. Like, what was the point of capturing Mando? You got him strung up, you took his weapons from him, but there's enough time for Grogu to fly to a whole nother planet to get her, to switch ships, to come back, and he's still in the same predicament. He's not dead or being spit roasted or anything just yet. Dude is just
he was like, hey, listen, when that joint started turning, I was like, oh, they finna roast Mando.
Hey, look, I thought they was cooking Slim. I'm not even
I did too.
I thought he was about to get cooked. I said, he's about to get served up. I don't know,
how much
dog.
time does it take? Like, that just didn't make any sense to me.
I guess I didn't think Grogu, like, the only issue would have been is how did Grogu relay the message to like R5? I already automatically assumed that R5 is what did the piloting and got them
right
back to Bo-Katan. But
well, he got in it when Grogu got in the ship. He pointed to the planet.
Oh yeah, he did. He pointed to the planet.
And he had told him this is where we went when we went to see Bo-Katan. So when he got in the ship, he did show R5 this is where we need to go. So he did do that. So I'm all right with. I'm on Sin's page. How long?
Yes. It doesn't make any sense.
Cause I know if I'm hungry,
I'm finna cook.
I ate then is Din. Slim is Big Herb.
Right.
I done ate Slim by the time you get back. So yeah, I mean, look, I don't
know. Hey, creature like to savor its food, I guess. I don't know. I ain't got that type of patience.
Yeah, I don't. It made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, the joint didn't stab him in the butt or whatever to draw his blood out. But then I assume I don't know, dog, if this joint was like a Skeksis from the Dark Crystal trying to, that's my second Dark Crystal reference in one episode.
Yep.
Draw his essence out. Like, I don't know what this joint was doing.
I thought it was blood, but then a part of me was like, I don't know if that's necessarily blood. It was a little orangey, I guess, but
hey, dog, I don't know what. Listen, Mando's blood could be orange. I don't know, dog. I'm just saying, like, it was very orange down there. The lighting was kind of strange to begin with, but I'm just saying, whatever juice was being drawn from him, I'm assuming is a long process. That is not, I don't know. Maybe you got to rotate get the right amount of juice. You know, I don't know. I can't really give them. You know, I can normally take some stuff and kind of put something together and be like, oh, nah, I was probably just, nah, it took a long time, dog. Like, again, the most I can do is say, we know it's all in the same star system, and we know that ship, like he did say to Pelly, he was like, man, the ship's still faster than I know what to do with. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen him do some stuff in that ship, but I don't know. I don't know, dog. I mean, they travel at light speed or something, right? Don't they? So, like,
they hit light speed. I guess that made the trip like all of 30 seconds. I don't know. Quick enough.
Well, they need to show that or something because it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I don't know how much time it's been. Look, Finn, how long has Bo-Katan been sitting in that chair?
Dog, she hasn't moved.
Apparently too long, but
weeks, bruh, or something.
Yeah.
He went to her planet, talked to her. She was laid up. The most she did was lean like this. Now she like this. There's no people. I don't know what she's eating. I don't like. It's nobody there. There's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like the planet.
Come back to her. She's in the same position.
Yeah, she just in the chair, leaning forward when they come back. So like, I don't know, bro. Like I don't know how close Tatooine is. Clearly, they went from her planet to Tatooine back to Mandalore.
I feel like that's got to be a little bit of a flight.
It does seem like it.
Yeah, really, they right around the corner from each other.
It does seem like it, but at least they explain that they're within the same. Like you can see the moon of Mandalore that he grew up on, and you can see on the chart that her planet, or wherever she was, again, he's like, it's in the same star system. You know, look, this is a galaxy far, far away, long time ago, with way better tech and way worse tech.
At the same time.
A combination of way worse and way better. They brought out, we don't even know how they calculate time, dog. So, you know what I mean? Like Tatooine got how many sons? 3 sons? 2 sons? 3 sons?
I think 3.
What they day-night cycle look like? It be nighttime on that joint. How is it nighttime? Y'all got multiple sons.
No, this probably be night for like all of like an hour. Like their jokes just like overlap so well. It's like 1 hour of pitch darkness.
And maybe they all 3 of them rise together and set together. I don't know.
But there's so many scallywags.
I feel like you would fry. I feel like with all 3 of those suns like that and they were out at the same time, I feel like it would be too hot on the damn planet.
Nobody could walk on that sand. I can't walk on Earth sand when it's hot. I don't know, dog. You would think Tatooine would be burnt up and that their sand would be glass too. I don't know, dog. I'm not mad. I guess we just have the suspension of disbelief, bro. Grogu used the Force to travel faster. Because again, dog, that's the same kind of problem I have. Like in a pinch, Grogu is a beast with the Force. You trying to save Mando though, dog? So like you can't unclasp the thing that's holding Mando in the metal joint, but you can throw people around though. You can hold
you gonna break jump just
a rhinoceros animal in the air, and you can't grab this joint's eyeball and just crush that joint real quick for me.
Maybe because he's stressed out because Mando's tied up and he can't focus like that or something.
He seemed relatively calm though the whole entire time.
He's scared, right? But he's not. He's like, all right, I gotta step up. I gotta go get my man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm creeping. I'm doing my little puppet walk. Doing my puppet walk. You know what I'm saying? Creeping. Exactly, man. And I get there. All right, I wait till he turns. Now I'm gonna get real close and use the Force. Why are we getting so close, dog?
You're gonna stay where you was, bro.
That's the whole point.
I'm gonna get real close, use the Force, and his little cradle doesn't make any noise.
Oh, it's all pretty quiet. Hey.
I don't know why he got out of that joint to go over there in the first place. Why is he walking, dog? It's dumb.
Oh man.
But you know, again, it's like we try to give some leeway for there to be confusion in the Force with him, right? Because Grogu is still technically a child, even though he's 50 years old.
Right.
He's knows the Force, has an innate ability to use the Force. He's learned some things for sure.
Definitely.
But I want to say that I saw an article that said that Dave Filoni said that he was with Luke for like 2 years.
2 years. I did see that.
Hey, dog, that's a lot of time,
Yeah.
son. I really need you to be able to unbuckle a buckle, dog. I need you to be able to do that. And like, you know, I don't know, like not using it regularly or not, you know, again, he can sit in a chair and spin himself around in circles. He can use a joint to feed himself, just pick stuff up and, you know, put it in when he's like chill or he's calm. If he's really scared and his adrenaline is there and it's like fight or flight, he seems to be capable, right? Like he's on the run. I gotta go get to Bo-Katan. This joint jumps in front of me. I'll just chuck this dude. But a giant joint that's threatening his life and or threatening Din Djarin's life, he can't
quite do it.
Yeah.
It's so
Should have been some
sporadic.
anger in there. Should have had some anger in there.
It's really, it's like it's plot armor, right? It's just plot armor. It's kind of like he can use the Force, but not really use the Force. He can do it when we really need him to, or when we really want him to. But like in an actual situation where like the obvious choice would be like, oh yeah, nah, just use the Force and make it happen because you're scared or because you're in that situation. You know, he doesn't. And so to me, it's just like, well, we have to figure out a way to get Bo-Katan to the planet, right? He went to her. She said, no, there's nothing there. I'm not going. You go by yourself, you know, whatever. And we got to find a way to get Bo-Katan to the planet so that we can get to the end of what this episode is supposed to be, because that's really what the important thing about this story we're telling is. So how we get there doesn't really matter. Let's kind of throw some of the stuff that makes the most sense out of the window. How long it takes to get back to the planet and get her to bring her, you know, how Grogu's use of the Force does or doesn't work, how good he is or isn't with it or whatever. Let's just write a story or whatever, and we'll make Grogu go back to get her and bring her back so that she can see the planet, and then she knows that it's, you know, whatever, right? So they just, it's just plot armor, and it's not great, right? Like, the episode's cool, but again, there's the kinds of issues that I generally have with stuff like this are that they seem to not really even play within the realms of their own rules.
Continuity or certain things.
So yeah, and so like for me, again, suspension of disbelief is about being able to believe within the confines of the rules you've given me for the story you're telling. And right now, you're breaking those rules, and that is, you know what I'm saying, what messes it up. So, yes, and I mean, I'm 100%, dog. 100%. How did he get there and back so fast?
Yes.
Or why, or more importantly, why did it take so long for the One-Eyed Willie armor mech to slow
kill his prey, whatever. Yeah, whatever he was gonna do with him. Yeah.
You know, I mean, because I have to imagine that Slim doesn't eat that often. Like I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine when's the last time that joint saw a Mandalorian on that planet.
Right.
Hasn't.
That's
You
a
know
delicacy, probably looking at it right now. Ooh,
Like the thing that trapped him was like an old helmet that had the visor like broken out of it, and he went to go pick it up. And that joint almost looked like it was bones. Like original Mandalorians, their helmet wasn't a helmet; it was their head. Like that joint.
They didn't take that joint off. That joint fused. That joint for keeping it on so long.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that joint can't have seen a Mandalorian in who knows how long, you know, whatever, maybe ever. and it's probably just been eating them fluoride.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Other creatures. Yeah,
Monkey man joints that was running around. If anything, and I don't know. Maybe Slim was just like, I can't just with all this armor. I can't just. I got to take my. I don't know, dog. It just is. It's stupid. It's really dumb, and it doesn't even feel like one of those things where they're like, oh nah, they cut something. You know what I'm saying? There's something on the cutting room floor that explains something or whatever. Like, I don't even think it's that. I really just think it's we got to get him to the planet, and then we have to get him captured, and then we have to find a way to get Bo-Katan to the planet. And this is how we're gonna do it. And that's really all it is. It's just
so we create some random creature that's gonna catch him.
Right. This is not a joint we've ever heard of or seen. Yeah. Like looking at the eyeball joint, it kind of remind me of them being in like the trash pit. In Star Wars, like the eyeball being in the joint. And I'm kind of like, hey dog, if that joint could do that with the tech that it has left there, then I feel like that trash compactor joint should have been able to build a mech suit and climb out of that joint with all the trash that was down there. I don't know, dog. I have no idea what the eyeball joint is. I know that joint was smart and built all types of contraptions and, whatever. She didn't seem like surprised by that joint. Like, what is this? Like, she's seen him before. Almost. Yeah, I don't know, dog. I don't know.
Yeah, she ain't had no like. That's like it didn't seem like a surprise, but she went down there and started putting the work on said creature and trying to rescue Mando. And this is where, she gets a hold of the Darksaber, and she starts using that thing like it's a child's plaything, compared to Mando's slow and like super heavy wielding, like almost like if it was like a heavy axe or something like that. But I know it responds better to Welda because I think she already has her focus. She believes in herself. Like she has like all of these same way like that. I guess you could say Moff Gideon also wielded it very well. But I think because Mando is kind of still, I don't want to say conflicted, but I know in him trying to walk his path, trying to redeem himself, I think that's kind of a play in the way that the use of the Darksaber comes into play at.
I mean, I think it's two things. The Darksaber is supposed to be like the wielder has to build a connection or have a connection to the kyber crystal that's in it. That's how the lore for the Darksaber works, is that over time, like if you watch the Clone Wars, Rebels, whatever, like when they're learning to use it, it gets lighter as they build a connection to the kyber crystal. So you have to have a connection to the kyber crystal to be able to wield it the way that she was wielding, right? And she had it and used it for a long time, but she didn't win it in combat. That's again what a lot of the crux of this is. Moff Gideon won it in combat. I'm trying to remember, did he? Hold on, Moff Gideon got it from Darth Maul, I think is right. I think he beat Darth Maul. Maybe Obi-Wan. Darth Maul, the Darksaber. Either way, you're supposed to win it in combat, and she did. Sabine gave her the Darksaber, and the myth of the story is supposed to be that you can't unite and lead the people if you don't win the Darksaber in combat. And so part of what it's supposed to be is that the reason why the Mandalorians are the way they are now is because when she was ruling them as the person in possession of the Darksaber, which she felt she had the right to because of blood, but that isn't really what it's supposed to be based on your bloodline. It's supposed to be based on winning the saber in combat. So her sister ruled peacefully. She left and joined like the Death Watch or whatever it is that was a subsect that wasn't really ruling peacefully. They had all this infighting, and then she gets her hands on the Darksaber and is supposed to unite all the Mandalorians to bring them back together, but it didn't work because she didn't win it in combat, which is why when he wins it, he beats Moff Gideon and gets the saber from him,
Mm-hmm.
he tries to give it to her and she won't take it.
Nope.
Because she did that once and it didn't work. So there's a certain amount of conflict within her that is like, she doesn't believe in a lot of the myths and the mythos and, you know, your people this, and they didn't, you know, the Mandalorians who don't want to take their helmet off and don't blah, blah, blah. Like all of that is kind of BS.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, she does believe in certain rules and regulations and whatever, because you would think she will be happy to have the saber back. She wants the saber back so that she can rule and that still she can quote unquote unite the people. But she's already tried that once and it didn't work without her winning it in combat. She didn't fight him for it. He didn't want to fight her for it. And she wouldn't take it just by having it given to her. So at some point, based on what's happening in this, either he has to end up being the person that unites all the Mandalorians and actually leads them with the Darksaber. Like he gets that, he learns maybe from her or whatever, how to build a connection with it, you know, or whatever. Or it goes back to her, to me. And she ends up having to do that with him by her side in some way, right? But that means they have to fight.
Hey, if he has to use Darksaber to fight her, I mean, there's a pretty good chance she's gonna win. So
I don't know what she uses against that joint, because that joint cuts through everything.
True.
But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, if he's got to use it, he would have to have that connection, and he don't really want it, and he also doesn't want to lead the people, so he doesn't have the will to do that. So, you know, it's hard to say, but she was wielding that thing.
Oh, for real? Yeah, like it was
She
nothing.
was making it look so easy, and I do have a high appreciation for the contrast. Them just kind of reiterating that, like when he uses that joint, it's heavy and he's slow, and he really don't know what he's doing. And she picked that joint up. And, you know, it was kind of tight that she, you know, if it was a Jedi, they would have used a force pull to grab it and start wielding. She used her man, on that joint and overhand swept that joint up to herself. You know what I'm saying? And grabbed it. And I thought that was kind of dope that they like kind of mirrored the idea of a Jedi having it. You know, and using it that way. And I like that she kind of gave some of that background, like talking to Grogu on their way to go get him, which again, by the way, it was moving kind of slow. Like they wasn't really like in no hurry to get to him. She just walking around like, you know, I fought with a lot of Jedi. I know a lot of them. I don't know what they told you about us. But at one point we were kind of tight. I've been known some Jedis. I don't know why she's telling Slim that. Like,
I don't think
like
even
Grogu,
other than
like she's in her head, like Grogu is the last Jedi she knows or whatever. Like she's like, yeah, I know you a Jedi and you can do things. Well, you know, we used to be friends. Like she's kind of giving, and it's cool. Again, it's plot armor, right? Like just kind of filling that in for people who watch the old shows and stuff like that. It's cool. I just think it's dope that she was handling.
She handled. Yeah, she watched him and the other little creatures out there that tried to jump on her beforehand.
Twice.
Them. Yeah. So,
made work. Yeah. She did what she does. And she's old.
She a beast.
She don't look old, but she's old. Technically, like by comparison, she gotta be. I mean, we're talking Clone Wars. She gotta be in her 50s.
Yeah.
If you think about all the time that's passed, all the people that have died, all the like, she gotta be old.
She's not letting age slow her down.
Like Grogu is 50, or was 50 at the time they found him. They said he was like 50, so he's like 55 now because they said he was with Luke for 2 years or whatever, 3 years. So Grogu's like 55. Again, we have no idea how time actually passes how far away, right? But like, I'm thinking, like, if you think about how old Boba Fett is,
Yes.
All right. So that puts Mando somewhere in that same age range. But I would say that she's older than Mando.
I would think.
And I would say she's probably older than Grogu. Look at Sin doing math.
I know he's doing the math. Star Wars math.
You know, like, how old is? All right, Boba Fett. I mean, at this point, maybe he's not, because again, Luke is young still.
Mm-hmm.
How old is Ahsoka? Because let's see, she trained with, I mean, Darth is a thing. Like, she trained with Anakin.
Right.
And so she trained with Anakin, and Luke is in his 30s, maybe.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing here, this website, we got this covered, is saying the same thing we would say, like how the timelines all kind of, you can't really tell what time and everything. But apparently, when she joined the Death Watch, she was apparently somewhere in her 20s. And they said, yeah, she's probably somewhere in her. They said, yeah, she's probably somewhere in her very late 40s to early mid 50s at this point.
That's what I'm saying.
In the Mandalorian,
she out there getting it.
Yeah,
she's out there getting it, bro. Like,
yeah. She got it. She still got it.
I'm trying to say, yeah, like, she in there. She was swinging that thing, bro.
Oh yeah. Yes, she was.
They catch you off guard.
Like, oh,
she was swinging that big black thing, bro. Listen. Hey, jokes, continue.
But so yeah, after she goes, cleans house, Mando passed out. He came to, they're having a little bit of a conversation. At this point, they're not like, she's like, all right, let's go. But Mando is like, nah, I gotta finish this. I'm here. I gotta make it to these waters. I need to cleanse myself. And so I can be a Mandalorian all over again. And she's just like, fine, whatever. I'll take you there. Like, because what are you gonna do? Like, I know the way you're gonna go out here. You're probably gonna struggle to try to find a place to go do it.
He's still super hurt. He's like, I gotta get up.
Yeah, she gave him some soup or whatever. Like the I guess a Mandalorian. Yeah. She's like, you ain't never had this before. First thing I was like, how am I gonna eat this? Like, so it's in the bowl. I was like, are you gonna like at this point it doesn't matter. You're not technically a Mandalorian. You can just take your helmet off.
Like, you can take it off. Like, you're about to go bathe and.
But I get it. He still wants to live by that credo. He wants to stay by that. So yeah. But he got enough room. He lived up a little bit and was able to. So I was like, okay, whatever. So she leads the way, and they find
this is the way.
This is the way. And they find the waters. They find the waters. There's an inscription there. It's written in Mandalorian. So she reads it off to him. And,
give him the whole experience.
Give him the whole. Hey, you gotta give him the whole vibe. You gotta have all the aesthetics when you go through this whole process. So
yeah, because for her, it's all fake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's telling him this is all pomp and circumstance. Like, all that stuff your people believe. Like, I was here. I'm a princess. My father ran this joint, and they just loved having me recite this and whatever. And he's like, your father must have been real proud. He sounds like a good guy. She's like, no. He was great.
Get it right.
But like, for her, it's all just ceremonial. Mm-hmm. She doesn't believe any of what he believes, and that is so important to what's happening. You know what I mean? Between the two of them. That he's this heavy believer who's never seen any of it, right, and she's this person who doesn't believe in it but lived all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that's the interesting contrast between the two of them that I think is important.
So he's ready. He's taking off all the extra, his guns, his weapons. his jetpack and everything, and he starts to make his way to the water. And I guess I don't think I knew there was actually like a recitement piece that he had to actually do, but he started reciting, I guess, the words to start the cleansing process as he walks into the water. And, I wasn't sure what to expect. Like I was thinking my man was just gonna like walk in, dip himself in. I don't know. He comes back up and like a light goes on. I don't know what I was expecting of the whole ceremony. But before, I guess technically it actually finished, a man gets yoinked underwater.
Well, I think he just falls. I think that just because of the devastation and the destruction or whatever, that like him walking, because I feel like she would have told him like, hey, because she's done it before.
Yeah.
I think she would have told him like, hey, there's a severe drop off.
Like it gets deep.
Yeah, like I don't think nothing grabbed him. He just was walking and thought it was safe to continue to walk and I think just from the devastation of the planet and the destruction or whatever, what used to be a floor that was there just isn't there anymore.
And now it's a massive underwater cavern.
Yeah, and so he just falls. He sinks
all the way to the bottom. I mean, he got that armor on, so
he went a lot further than the bottom.
Still very weak too. You know what I mean? Like he still doesn't have all of his strength back.
Yeah. So he was at the bottom. She found him, she grabbed him, starts to make the way back up. But in process of starting to make the way back up, big old giant creature. We got ourselves a creature, the mythosaur, that I know the armorer was telling Mando about. Like, if I'm not mistaken, that is I don't know if that was the what he has inscribed on his armor, or if
it's the Mandalorian symbol. The
symbol
skull and the horns that is the Mandalorian symbol is based on the quote unquote mythosaur, which she's reading that to him, that inscription to him as part of whatever, like it's not real, but here we are. This is what it's based on. This is what our insignia comes from. But it's a myth. Like it's not real.
But
he swings past that joint.
Right.
Yeah. You kind of just lock up for a second, like, oh, like I
was like, oh, that's the thing on that armor right there.
That's the thing right there.
That's that big guy.
I don't know if you're friendly or not. And you know what? We're not gonna play this game right now, and we want to find out. And we're just gonna make our way back to the surface. So they get back up there, and this is kind of just that moment of, that's the creature, and that's where we get left at the end of this episode. So I don't know how much more the creature. I mean, I guess in seeing said creature, I wonder if that's going to give her a little bit more of the wanting to believe in the whole entire thing. Because now with the creature being seen, I guess that'll be Mando's proof. Like, I haven't figured out exactly what his proof is going to be that he's actually bathed in the waters, other than seeing the inscription on there. I don't know if he comes back up and there's a gift shop and my man can go buy himself a little drink.
Just get a phone and take a selfie. Look, I'm here.
I'm at the water.
Shit on the wall. Everything.
I'm at the water. So I don't know exactly what that looks like as of yet. I imagine when the next episode comes, I would think they're probably making their way out of the caves, out of the tunnels, for him to go back and say, hey, I bathed in them waters. I'm Mandalorian again. I don't know. But that's where we get left at for the end of this episode. So overall, not too bad. I think we are experiencing our adventures. I guess the adventures are starting. I know normally they're one-on contained Mando, Grogu type of experiences, but this was a little bit different. But now that we've kind of gone through and walked our way through the episode, let's do some overall scores for this episode. Sin, what would you give? I know you already said you're a little shaky. I don't know if our walking through changed your opinion, but what's your overall score for this episode?
Probably a 7. Probably a 7 overall for me. I mean, I did enjoy it. I just had issues with those two things I brought up. But outside of that, I did enjoy the episode, so I'll give it a 7.
I dig it. Gage, where are you at?
I'm in the same place. I think a 7 is about right for it. for me, a lot of times these episodes and kind of like where they rank has to do with how they connected to the episode before them and how it feels like they're gonna move to the next episode. I'm with you, Joseph. I don't know what his plan is or how he was planning to prove that he went to Mandalore and that he bathed in the waters of Mandalore. I just know he knows he had to do it, right? But that means that at some point after doing it, his plan is to go back to the armorer and say, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, right? Which even then, I don't know what that gives him. So my thing about this season of this series is that I have no idea what the purpose is. I don't know what the point of this season is. Right? I thought the purpose of this season was him trying to figure out how he was going to get back to Mandalore, whether he was going to be able to survive it, whether the living waters even existed. It's episode 2, and we already did that.
Yep. We've already blew our load. Yeah, we're done.
Now,
where we go from here?
Yeah, and so
go back
now
to
I'm
finding
like,
the memory chip.
So, but
he doesn't need him though. He doesn't need IG no more. He did it.
What do we need? Yeah, it's like, all right. So is the end all be all like? Now we need to unite the Mandalorians. We got to go find those Mandalorians that are off doing whatever. And you know, she's when he went to Bo-Katan and was like, you know, I'm ready to go. What's up? I'll join you. You know what I mean? And she's like, ain't nobody to join. You know what I mean? I couldn't unite them and they all left and everybody went their separate ways or whatever. So now it's going back to the Mandalorians that he's aware of, going to her and her trying to get the ones that she's aware of and trying to unite them. The question is going to be, who will they follow? Will they follow? Why would they follow? And then to me, it's got to be based on the Darksaber and who ends up having that, right? And so is it now we need to unite the Mandalorians and get them back to the planet and retake the planet and rebuild it? Does it mean we're all one unit and now we stay in this new place? What is the point? Is I think where I'm at. And in the long run, is it he's gonna do his job of helping her bring them all back together, but he's still gonna end up as the sheriff you know what I'm saying? You know, helping my man out, keep the pirates off of him. You know, I don't know where this is going. But I'm interested because they already did what I thought this season was supposed to be about.
Right.
So again, whether it's about proof, you know, it's not like they don't know he has a Darksaber. It's not like they don't know he won it in combat. He's already been challenged for it once, you know, in combat. I could see somebody challenging him again and him losing, and then her challenging that person and winning.
Dog walk that person.
Maybe. Like I could see it. Because again, she's never won it in combat. And so I think that's a thing that they would want to show. Is like, if they're going to get the saber back to her, they want to show her winning in combat. And I don't think having her beat him in combat is the way they're going to want to do it. So there's a part of me that feels like he goes back. He's technically official. However they choose to prove it. Whether he grabs, I don't know, vials of the living water or something. I don't know. Like, you know, or because he has her with him, you know, whatever. But they don't consider her Mandalorian either. But she would be the one who could vouch. Like I'm assuming like knocked out or out of it. So I don't even know if he saw the mythosaur. Right. She did though. Right. So whether he ends up seeing it or not, or whether she has to be like, oh snap, like that joint really is down there. It really is true. Such and such is real. I'm a believer.
I'm a believer now.
I just saw Jesus walk on water. I'm a believer, right? I don't know what her turn is going to be, but clearly she's going to have a turn because she spent this entire episode basically saying how it's all fake. It's all just pomp and circumstance. None of it's real, right? And now she's just seeing something that makes it real. And she's been telling him that his people are the problem and his people are the ones who blah, blah, blah. And now she's going to have to kind of eat that. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. you know, how that plays out, and that, you know, based on what they did in this episode, does keep me from making this joint like a 5. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, I'm like, hey, dog, this is a lot of stuff happening in this joint that just ain't quite right.
Right.
But I'm expecting more of it.
Agreed. I'm in the same place. I'm at a 7. Like, I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more than the first one, but it was still a little shaky. So hopefully, like, we're building up to something. Just like you said, Gage, like what the season should have been or what we thought it was going to be leading to, we've now accomplished that already within the first 2 episodes. So I
think I like that though. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I like that I have no idea
where things are going to go to right now.
Mm-hmm. You know, the first season was like, all right, he's got to protect the child, get the child to whoever the child's supposed to go to, and when he does that, it's kind of like, all right, well, clearly we can't have another season and not have Grogu, because that's what people care about. Right? So then it was, all right, how are we getting Grogu back, and what are we doing, you know, to make that happen? And you kind of watch that happen throughout the season. This joint, I'm like, hey, dog, we going to Mandalore. It's about to be on. We
done.
Nope.
Oh.
It's a wrap.
Oh, episode 2. Oh, okay.
We're already here.
So I kind of like that. I just don't have any idea of where they're actually going with this.
Dig
right
it.
Now. So
dig it. All right. Well, that has been your Spoiler Boys for The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2. We want to hear your opinions, so make sure wherever you're watching this, join us in the chat. Let us know what you thought of the episode, and give us some predictions on what you think is actually going to be coming for Episode 3 or the future of this season. Be on the lookout naturally next week, same time, same place. We'll be doing our review on Episode 3. But until then, for the homie Gage, for the homie Sin, this has been Spoiler Boys. We will check you later.
Loading snacks. Ow.